brought to you by the Modern Gun School. This is not the other place that thinks that they can take your entire GI Bill and run with it. This is an accredited online university. Whether you just want to learn a few things or you actually want to break into the firearms space, they leave you with options. Check them out at Modern Gun School. Let's get into the video. Good morning, everyone. Although now that I think about it, it's Saturday, so I'll probably release this video this afternoon. So happy Saturday, everyone, I guess. Sig Sauer is back in the news. And you know, I used to say that there's no such thing as bad press. And I should probably just stop saying that because demonstrably there is a such thing as bad press. And in this instance, Sig has made their own bad press. They have stepped in a puddle of their own digging. Basically, if they had just left this alone and not said anything, nobody would be talking about this right now, and they would not be experiencing the ire of the internet. Basically, Sig has come out and said, our guns are fine, and they don't do anything that they're not supposed to do. We're going to get into this statement, expressly what it says, what is true, what is sort of true, and what is objectively false about it. But before I do, I want to lead off with, when I first saw this post, I left a comment on it and said, hey, my company does field testing. We've been working in the gun industry for over 10 years. You guys are welcome to book a testing project with us, and we'll go out and beat a whole bunch of your guns up, and we'll publish the whole thing, right? And now that I've left that comment, I guess what I would have to say is we would probably have to get those guns from distribution. I wouldn't allow Sig to cherry pick those guns, whether the project was supported or not. Now, that brings up another thought that I had. If you guys really want, and you guys want to support it through like Patreon or something like that, then if you guys fund it, then I'll go out and get the guns through distribution. Here's the thing. I'm not going to do it by myself, though, because I'm not going to go out and buy $10,000 worth of Sig products, because we're probably going to need at least 5, if not 10, different pistols to have some kind of substantive look at a sample size. It would be great if we could do more like 20, but it's going to be cost prohibitive. I'm definitely not buying $20,000 worth of Sig products. But anyway, the P320 cannot, under any circumstances, discharge without a trigger pull. That is a fact. The allegations against the P320 are nothing more than individuals seeking to profit or avoid personal responsibility. Recently, anti-gun groups, members of the mainstream media, trial attorneys, and other uninformed, agenda-driven parties have launched attacks on one of Sig Sauer's most trusted, most tested, and most popular products, the 320 pistol. In all cases, these individuals have an ulterior motive behind their baseless allegations that the 320 can fire without a trigger pull. They have no evidence, no data, and no empirical testing to support any of their claims. They instead choose to misrepresent clear, negligent discharges as a design problem. In the decades since its introduction, the P320 has undergone the most rigorous testing and evaluation of any firearm by military and law enforcement agencies around the world. It consistently delivers a proven record of performance and reliability through state-of-the-art engineering and documented quality control at every stage of its production. Claims that the unintended discharges are anything more than negligent handling and/or manufactured lies to support an anti-gun, anti-Sig agenda are false. Furthermore, lawsuits claiming that the 320 is capable of firing without the trigger being pulled have been dismissed in courtrooms around the country. In addition, multiple plaintiffs, so-called experts, have conceded it is not possible for the 320 to discharge unless the trigger is fully actuated. The rhetoric is high, and we can no longer sit silent while lawsuits run their course and clickbait farming, engagement hacking, grifters continue their campaign to hijack the truth for profit. Enough is enough. From the courts of law to the court of public opinion, we will combat the lies and misinformation with the truth. Sig Sauer stands behind the quality, safety, and design of all of our products, especially the 320. Industry, take notice. What is happening today to Sig Sauer with the anti-gun mob and their lawfare tactics will happen tomorrow at another firearms manufacturer and then another. Today, for Sig Sauer, it ends. Okay, a little bit dramatic, if you ask me. And I guess what I would say is that I like Sig. I have multiple SIG products. I probably own about $15,000 worth of SIG products total. In fact, I used to carry an M11 everywhere that I went, but I then decided that I would be really upset if I had my M11 taken away from me. So I decided that I would use cheap guns. The wisdom of that, may not be fully baked. I don't have an axe to grind with SIG. Personally speaking, I don't really think that the 320 aesthetically is pleasing to me. I feel like the bore axis is a little bit high for what it is. It's a striker fired pistol, and that's one of the things that is great about striker fired pistols is that you can lower that bore axis. It just seems to me like the overall design was kind of like, hey, we make this gun and it's really popular. Let's cut the hammer off of it and then put a striker fire mechanism in it. And that's kind of how we ended up with the 320. And that's just my opinion of it, because the reason the gun is, or the 226, for instance, is so tall is because there is a physics problem. You have to have so much throw on the hammer for it to have enough inertia to be able to actuate the firing pin and initiate the primer, right? If it's too short, then you'll have unreliable, or you have to have like really tight springs and then the slide's really hard to pull back. So there's a physics problem associated with the hammer fired gun. So when you go to a striker fired system, instead of having a thing that flings like this, you then just kind of move everything in line, and then you just basically have to pull back the striker a little bit to get enough inertia for it to go. So it allows you to shrink the whole system. That's why the striker fired guns are kind of just smaller on the bore axis as a general matter. 320 is not that. So I don't know. Aesthetically, not my bag, but I don't really have anything against the 320. I just don't find it aesthetically pleasing. And, it's a 9mm gun anyway. What does the bore axis really matter? So in order to accomplish my clickbait farming and grifting, I need to go to the second to last slide here. Now, the statement that I'm looking for is, furthermore, lawsuits claiming that the 320 is capable of firing without the trigger being pulled have been dismissed in courtrooms around the country. Yes, that is a factual statement when written that way. Yes, that has occurred. And as far as I know, that there are 12 or 13 cases where the cases have been dismissed. But there's also a few more recent, I think there are 2023 cases. I'd have to look specifically them up, but millions of dollars were paid out by SIG to the plaintiffs who were injured by their weapons. So, yes, there have been cases dismissed, and a lot more cases have been dismissed than have gone all the way, but there are cases that have gone all the way and SIG has been forced to pay out. Testing by military and law enforcement agencies means absolutely nothing to me. But what I would point out is that in many instances, the plaintiffs in these cases are law enforcement officers or military personnel. And to intentionally cast shade, what does that tell you? The P320 cannot under any circumstances discharge without a trigger pull. There is verified video evidence that this is not the case, or at least was not the case at one point in time. It's all over the place. You've probably seen it. So that statement could be considered factual depending on when we are talking about the era of the 320. If we're talking about the very first 320s that came out, that is not a factual statement. If we're talking about the guns that are produced in 2025, maybe it is. I don't know. But I know that at one point in time, there were a suite of videos that came out, both by people going out and actively testing them and by just security cameras sitting there capturing an incident where something like that happened. In all cases, these individuals have an ulterior motive behind their baseless allegations that the 320 can fire without a trigger pull. They have no evidence, they have no data, and they have no empirical testing to support their claims. That is an absolute statement, and absolute statements usually blow up in your face, okay? So if they had said in most cases, which I understand why they can't, but if they said in all cases since such and such date, they probably could have done that. However, if you just say blanket all cases, well, that is factually inaccurate. And that is what I would classify as an untruth. This feels like straight up damage control, folks. I don't know if they're feeling the heat somewhere, but if I had to venture a guess, I would say that somebody somewhere is concerned that with all the government efficiency going around right now, that somebody is going to direct their attention to a reported problem with the military's handgun, and somebody's going to lose their contract. I think that if I had to guess, now that's just my opinion, I don't have any evidence to support that or anything like that. I'm just saying that there's some reason that SIG is doing this now, and I don't know what that is. But again, doors open, call me, and if you guys would like me to go out and beat the heck out of a whole bunch of SIGs, then let me know about it in all the ways possible. Thanks for tuning in. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. And hopefully we'll see another video here at the VSO Gun Channel.